I don't want to live on this planet anymore. So before I go into the meat and potatoes of this video, I have a challenge for you all. Subscribe to my channel. That's all I ask. Why should I have fewer subscribers than this person that I'm about to talk about? It's unjust. It's not right. And we need to fix it. So just hitting that subscribe button is really all I ask. Because this is not right. Okay. Let's talk about Hypnotist Sappho. Sapio? It doesn't matter. So if you're not familiar, and I would be pretty shocked if you weren't familiar at this point, Hypnotist Sappho, or I don't even care anymore about what I call her, this person, they have recently came out as a zoophile. Hooray! Now, I don't have to go into too much detail on why furries are not particularly keen on zoophiles. All you should probably know is they like to do it with animals, and that's no good. However, she likes to try and justify this by saying that it's not like bestiality, even though it's literally the exact same thing. You're also very vague in the video on whether or not you actually did anything with animals or not, but evidence has recently shown that that's not the case. You definitely 100% have. And another big thing that I had a lot of problems with is your idea of consent. Now, it should be one thing to know that if it's going to be between two consenting adults, that is absolutely okay. Things should be fine that way. And if someone does not consent, then you do not do it. And animals do not consent. At least definitely not in the way that humans do. And if you think an animal does consent, how are you sure that you are able to interpret that as consent? Well, I will tell you just how she interprets consent. She doesn't. In fact, she doesn't really care about consent at all, and I will prove it to you in just a moment. So she doesn't care about the consent of dogs, or any animal for that matter of fact. So is doing animals really the only thing that seems to be her problem at the moment? Oh, wait, there's more. Oh, there's plenty more. So yeah, not caring about consent and doing it with dogs is one thing, but come to find out that she is also well, you know what? I'm not necessarily worried about YouTube at this point. She's a pedo. She likes little kids. Don't diddle kids, people. Can we not? So, let me take you to the receipts, shall I? The first specimen reads, yeah, I think we should abolish consent laws because children can think for themselves anyway. Either way, if consent laws were correct, you shouldn't be able to consent until you're 25, because that's when the brain stops developing. My point is, consent laws are stupid, and children are able to say if they want to have sex or not. Okay. So no, children cannot consent. This is the reason why when people put themselves onto children in a fashion like this, we call it grooming. Children don't know anything about sex or the repercussions thereof. So we have to teach them about that. Despite whether or not they know the consequences and despite whether or not they understand how things work, doesn't matter. Because if those consequences come to pass, we're going to end up with a child having a child. And even if it's in the case of same-sex relations or contact in that sort of manner, it's still not right. It's still an unwanted sexual encounter that they did not prepare themselves for. And of course, this can also lead to all kinds of abuse, and I don't even want to get onto that right now. Because children are people, because laws are unethical, because inherent harm is a myth, because the state should have no business in people's love. Brain development doesn't play a role in intelligence or ability. You can learn at any age. It's just that the longer you've been in the world, the more you learn, but consent is such a simple concept that brain development is nil in this scenario. Also, consent is an outdated framework anyway. Unprompted sexual experiences, and other romantic ones at that, are not necessarily bad if both parties enjoy it. Somebody needs to stop me from beating my head into a wall. Inherent harm is a myth? Well, tell that to the people who have been harmed by these sort of encounters. Because I guarantee you will find people who haven't been harmed, but does that justify not taking into account the people who have? And no, the state shouldn't have any business in people's love. If it wasn't for much more recent laws being passed, I would have not the ability to marry any other person because I am gay. And the state should have absolutely no control over who I pick and choose to be my mate, but I'm not going to choose a mate that's an animal, or a child for that matter of fact. And yes, brain development does play a role in intelligence and ability. I don't understand where you're even standing on this position. I know this isn't necessarily the best analogy, but you're not going to be teaching a 4-year-old college-level mathematics. They're just not going to get it. Because I guarantee you, they're not going to get the higher stuff until we teach them the basics. Same thing goes with sex. And even if you teach them the basics, that does not mean that a child, preferably no one under the age of 18, should go out and do it. But I do recommend that, even though you do live in a place where consent laws have it under the age of 18, that if anyone does decide to have any sort of, well, underage sex, that they at least do it, carefully and protected. And I don't mean like a huge age gap either. It's like a 16-year-old and a 16-year-old. Okay, just make sure you wear a condom. I would prefer you wait till you're 18. But, well, human nature and all that. And it doesn't matter if someone enjoys an unprompted sexual experience. That's still the R word. And I'm definitely going to have to take and keep quiet on that one. YouTube does not like that word. So yeah, it's still that. It doesn't matter if both parties are enjoying it. The fact remains, it's still, yeah, you get the picture. She was also asked if she would ever do it with an animal, and she responded with no comment. Why am I not surprised? And this is a picture of Sappho with a minor. This has been confirmed to me by someone who was in a world that she frequents and was also subsequently banned from. Sappho was banned from it, that is. And if you couldn't tell, the white oval has a, behind it. Yeah. Sappho apparently also has an alt called Wintergreen. And this is a picture of her showing off a German Shepherd puppy, which she calls her partner. This is her profile on the RChat from FurHub. You can tell that she has a lot of different symbols, obviously calling her out, making it pretty obvious that she is exactly what she says she is. And here's a picture of also one of her VR chat avatars. So if you ever see this in the world, you know exactly who it is. So that's pretty much all the information that I have for you on Sappho at the moment. And I don't know if I really want to cover Sappho anymore because she's absolutely disgusting and I really don't want to have any association with her. Even if it's just on the grounds of me talking about her absolutely disgusting behavior and her YouTube channel. Which, after frequenting her YouTube channel, I have also found out that she does have a few favorited channels that actually kind of speak volumes, considering I know the content that they make. So I can probably tell you now that she's not exactly the best person to be talking to, not the best person to converse with, and not the person that I definitely would want, even just to take and tell her how much of a disgusting human being she is. However, I would recommend going to her channel and at least going to the video and looking at the comments, because some of them are quite good. That's probably the only good thing about this video, really. However, if you would like to have a little bit more information on the whole Sappho situation, then I highly recommend checking out Lago Vert and Coyote Lovely. They do a pretty good job at covering a lot of this stuff, a lot better than I do, mostly because they are pretty much on Twitter 24/7 looking at all this stuff and keep up with it a lot more than I do. I'm honestly kind of shocked that they don't go insane, or maybe they are already insane. So I will leave a link to them down below in the description if you would like to go check them out. And once again, subscribe to my channel, because I should have more subscribers than this person. Please. And thank you. Spectre out.